Let me tell you guys, today we are going to piss some people right off.
We're back. We're back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast.
No one's letting you forget in the club. That is for fucking sure.
Are you in lots and lots of pain? How bad is the pain?
Fuck you fucking asshat. Have fun dancing in the floor.
Number one, why am I falling? Number two, you ruined everything.
Oh, so good.
Go.
Meow, meow, meow. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. We've missed you. I know it's only been a week, but we miss you. We love being here with you. And we also just love being here with each other.
Basically just an opportunity to hang out. And just going to throw that out there. Today's a very spicy, electric, triggering, confronting, self-responsibility inducing conversation. I think that's going to go down. I mean, we started it a couple days ago. We had our Club Unhinged CEO date, Kelsey and I, and we were like, Kelsey's like, can I just rant about something for a minute? And I was like, fuck yeah, you can. Let me get my popcorn, my fucking green juice, my coffee, and my wrap, and then I'll be right with you.
Ready.
And then we riffed into it, and then we were like, you know what? This is a podcast conversation. So we're just going to disclose that. We'll do our, what is it called? A trigger warning? I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even love doing trigger warnings because at this point, we're all fucking adults.
Yes. And also, they were saying that trigger warnings are actually sometimes, a lot of, people in the trauma-informed and nervous system world were actually saying that trigger warnings are actually more, can actually cause more of a trigger because of the whole idea. And then people are getting all amped up for it and their nervous system's getting all jacked. And so, you know what? This is just a conversation.
Yeah. And you may like it. You may not like it. And, well, that's life, isn't it?
That's on you, motherfucker. I'm just joking. I love you guys so much.
Oh, we love you so much. And we want to talk today about how women, sometimes you are the fucking problem. Sometimes
I can already imagine popping off. Can you imagine if we put that in a post and then imagine the comments and the fucking DMs? The comments would be like, "Excuse me, you don't understand the toxic relationship. He's a narcissist. I've diagnosed him. I don't have any background, but guess what? I am diagnosing. I am Google. I shall tell you. He's the problem. He's the
problem, not me."
Oh.
And that just, it drives me insane. And I've had a lot of these comments, obviously, in my line of work. People love to fight for not only their limitations, but they also love to fight for their identity of looking good and avoiding looking bad. And so, there's a lot that goes into this, especially when we're talking about relationships and when we put everything on the guy. He's the fucking problem. And we are not suggesting that there aren't men that are problematic, because there are. But the majority of relationships, that's not actually the case. In the majority of relationships, both people are the problem. Both. Not just one.
No exceptions here. No exceptions. If you're thinking not me, I am squeaky, squeaky clean. No, you're not. And the reason, okay, let's be real here. The reason we're poking fun at this, and especially me right now, is I'm being an asshat, is because I was the ultimate, this is not my problem. It is all on you. You are the piece of shit. You are the problem. You are the reason I am miserable. X, Y, Z. I got my ass handed to me multiple times. And some of the most impactful work, and I'm talking done a lot of fucking work on different components. I think honestly that some of the most impactful work was doing personal self-responsibility work and seeing my part, the shadowy, the part of me who wanted to blame and criticize and poo-poo on and like point fingers at the relationships I was in, because it was so much easier than looking at myself. It's so much easier. And when we dive into this conversation more and triggers and mirrors and how relationships are like some of our greatest mirrors and how we co-create everything, we'll dive into this more. But like it changed everything for me. It changed everything. And it made me feel so like annoyed and like I wanted to punch somebody for even bringing this up to me. But it was so, even suggesting the audacity, but it was so humbling. And all of a sudden it made me realize that like, fuck me. I in every situation we have two options. We can say I'm the victim of this and I don't have power. I'm powerless to the situation, right? Or I co-created this. And consciously or unconsciously, most of what we create in our lives is unconscious, right? Until we become conscious. So it's like, it's not about shitting on ourselves and being mad and all that and taking on like all of that and like gaslighting ourselves. It's just more of the lens of like, okay, shit, I co-created a dynamic, or the relationships that I was in that were very unhealthy were because like the wounded parts of me were a perfect match, energetic match with the perfect wounds in him. And so we co-created an absolute fucking shit show dumpster fire. Great. Like there's, do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to become this whole thing, this whole pity party. It's just, it is what it is. And so that's why we're excited to dive in with you today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can obviously relate to everything you just said because prior to 2008, self-responsibility was offensive to me.
You would have been the one in the comments being like,
yeah,
you don't understand my problem. This is my situation, and it's very unique and different.
And I'm the victim. And he is the villain. And if you only knew just how horrible he's being to me. Meanwhile, I'm in the back end of the relationship being a little manipulative bitch and like doing everything I can to emasculate him, to like do this like power over. And I find with women that happens a lot where they'll use emotional tactics to extract power in a relationship. So I, you know, like
my arm is raising.
my hands up. You know, the put downs, the side eye, the huffing and puffing, the silent treatment, he asks, "Are you okay?" And I say, "Yeah, I'm fine." With that fucking tone that immediately communicates, "Oh, I'm not fine, and you're fucking in for it, buddy. Like, prepare yourself, because shit's about to go down." You know, and I thought that was perfectly acceptable behavior because that was what was modeled for me in terms of how the feminine interacts with the masculine. Like, there was a lot of modeling in my upbringing of women in my life treating men in this way and men just taking it. So I have like my blueprint is like more passive men who will just take it and not stand up for themselves until they get to a breaking point and then they snap. And then the feminine is like, "Ah, I'm so victimized. See what a bad man he is." Even though they've been fucking drilling him for fucking years. You know, and see no problem in it. See no problem in talking shit, talking down, put downs, embarrassing someone, shaming them publicly, humiliating them. Like, there are so many ways that women act in toxic ways in their relationships with men. And if we don't have that thread of self-accountability and self-responsibility, we'll stay stuck in that victim loop of thinking that all the men, they're the problem, not realizing that the only common denominator in all of those relational dynamics was me. And that's when things really started to shift for me, was when I had that realization. And it was actually through Landmark, and I know we've talked about Landmark before on podcasts, but it was a process that we did really early on, and I was tracking all of my relationships, and like the story was essentially the same. And I'm like, see how fucking bad these dudes are? They just treat me so terribly. And then it was like one of those like come to Jesus moments of like, the heavens open, and I realized, I'm like, oh, fuck me. I am the only common denominator inside of all of these relationships. Maybe I'm the problem. And it's not absolving them of their part, because obviously a relationship is a co-creation. But up until that point, I was not willing to accept the fact or even acknowledge the possibility that I had anything to do with the experiences and the results that I was experiencing relationally. And once I woke up to that, that's when things started to change. And that's when it was very sobering, because I was like, fuck, I've been a wretched, wretched cunt. And wow, I can't believe these dudes stuck it out with me for as long as they did. And no wonder it was such a mess. No wonder. And so that started to shape and shift how I began to relate to men. And we talked about this with our episode with Stefania, our rant that we went on about respecting men. Well, I couldn't ever get to a place of respecting men without having played out the complete disrespect of men. I needed that contrast in order to have the clarity that that's actually not the person I want to be. And if I want the relationship that I say that I do, respect has to be the baseline. I can't be pulling this toxic fucking feminine shit and expecting to have a healthy relationship. And if we are in that position of just putting blame on the other person, we're never going to get to the result that we want anyway, because that result requires a good amount of self-responsibility and self-accountability and honesty about the parts that you played. And it's not a fun conversation to have with yourself. It's certainly not fun to admit that, yep, I am a pro at manipulation. Like, I'm so good at it. And I catch myself all the fucking time, because those patterns just want to creep in. And I have to be so tight with myself on not letting those parts run rampant, because they could very easily. And it's tempting. It's really fucking tempting, because that power is intoxicating. And like, you see, especially in the feminist circles, a lot of women talking about like men who are fucking drunk on power. But where's the conversation about women who are just as fucking drunk on toxic power? It's just a different manifestation. It manifests differently, but we do it too. And if we fail to recognize that thread in ourselves, well, nothing gets transformed. So, that's what I have to say about that.
End rant.
End rant.
Oh, fuck. It's so good. I just love so many things you said there. I mean, it's such a tough pill to swallow, this conversation. And again, I just want to preface this with like, we're not talking about like legitimate like relationships where you're in a state of abuse. You're not in a state of like harm, you and your kid. Like, there are real situations, right? Like, that's not what we're playing with here. And I think like that's something we want to communicate. We're talking about sort of a generalization of many relationships that we've encountered, or even friendships, or like, you know, clients or people, you know what I mean? Like, and ourselves, we're calling ourselves out first and foremost. But I think that there's a lot of the wounded feminine. And I think that it is very easy to offload that pain and that like, projection onto the person we're with. And in relationships, I see as our greatest mirror. They literally are like holding a mirror back to us and saying like, This is where there's opportunity to heal. This is where, right? Like even being single, like I think the thing is like until you're in relationship with somebody, you don't have like you can be like especially if you're in the personal development world or in the spiritual world, like it's so easy to think you're like #woke and you fucking nailed it and you're just like I am done the work, and then you go into relationship and you're like, oh my motherfucker, I am, oh shit, there's the shadow and there's the thing and there's the part of me who wants to be manipulative. And it like again, it's not about being perfect, but once you start to have these awarenesses, it's like those micro shifts again. It's the in the moment, am I willing to shift this and to take responsibility? And like I mentioned earlier, this is some of the work that I did and really got into emotional intelligence and sort of self-responsibility work probably in like 2019, 2020. And at the time I was in a separation of my marriage, and we were like debating, like it was actually the work that ended getting us back together. Now we are divorced, like we're in the finalization of our divorce, like, but we had a child in between that time, but we actually got back together because like there was accountability on both sides. And the whole time, again, I'm not negating my ex's or any ex's behavior because there's some fucked up shit that happened, but there was also this like, fuck, how do I move forward? Like it's easier to end this relationship. Whenever we're in struggle in a relationship, it's so much easier to walk away, to end it, because then we don't have to deal with it. But if we're willing to stick it out and we're willing to look at it, there's so much gold there, and not just run or, go away from it. So there was this piece of like, well, if I leave this and we get a divorce now, I have every choice and I have every right to do that based on what's happened in our relationship. And I'm realizing that I was a 50% co-creator of this. And so if that's true, if I want to become the conscious creator of my life and manifest the things I want, I have to be willing to cash in my victim chips. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like you're at the casino and they're like, okay, so you want to play in the high roller stake? Amazing. Like, give me your chips. They don't belong there. And you're like, no, I've worked very hard for these victim chips. I don't know if you know what I've been through. I get to keep both. And they're like, you literally cannot be both. Like, your energetic vibration cannot be both. So it was this like struggle about giving them up, because I was like, fuck, if I say I co-created something like this, then I also have to take responsibility for other things. So it was this big like tug of war of like my ego being like, I don't want to, I want to make him the bad one. And when I was like, no, I surrender this and I'm willing to look at this, that's when I started to look at the ways I was manipulating, the ways I hadn't communicated for years, the ways I, passive aggressively would state things and so like I noticed it. I was like on a freaking mission to notice myself and to be like, is this healthy? And so, because I wasn't taught healthy growing up. And so, we weren't together at the time, but I remember like we were deciding whether to date again. We were kind of dating and like we got into an argument and I got triggered and like I freaked out and I like said some nasty shit. And then like afterwards, I literally was like fuming and I wanted to be like, see, you're such a fucking asshole, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, Christine, hold on. Look at the way you just interacted with that. Yeah. Like you were a fucking spaz and you walked away, or you like said something nasty because you were allowed to. I'm allowed to because you hurt me in the past and you did some fucked up shit. So I'm going to pull it up. Even though I told you I forgave you. Oh, I didn't. It is right here. It is juicy and it's ready to go. So I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to slap that back in your face. And so it was this process of being like, afterwards being like, I'm so mad. And but I was like, who do I want to be? Who's the woman I want to be? Am I going to be my little child, or am I going to be the fucking grown woman who can handle shit and I can have conversations? So I remember saying, like, I remember dialing his number and I was like, mother bitch, I don't want to do. My ego was like, hang up, don't do it. And I was like, I have to. So I called back and I said, hey, I want to apologize. I want to take ownership for the way that I just acted in that scenario. I'm not proud of it. I'm going to work on it. And like, I apologize. And next time I hope I can communicate in a way where I can actually get my point across, or my feelings of what's actually going on here. And he was like shocked. Like you could feel the energetic of fight. It just dropped. It instantly just dropped because I think he was in shock. And also the second piece to that is that even if you might be like, oh, I'm clapping myself because I've done something like that. But it's like, but have you brought up? It's like doing that, but without I also need you to take accountability. So I didn't go in there saying, hey, so I apologize for the way I acted, but The
Your turn.
reason I did that, yeah, your turn, or the reason I did that is because you did. So it's a clean, regardless of whether you take accountability or not, I'm cleaning my side of the street because this is who I want to become. This is who I want to be. And so it was some of the hardest work to do that because it was so like against my ego, but it was the work that eventually got us back together. We had another kid, and yes, it didn't end up working out, but here's the thing. I now can move on knowing that I did everything that I could in that relationship and I cleaned up my shit. Because here's the thing, you guys, if you identify as a woman and you're dating men, you are, and this could go for any gender, but you are, if you just walk away and you say, you're the problem, you're the asshole, XYZ, zero responsibility, guess what's going to happen? You, my friend, are going to find a wonderful man roll into your life with a different face and different penis. Guess what? Same problems. Same problems. You are going to have, the universe is, and the nature is so net positive and so in your favor, it will usher in pretty much an exact replication just so that you can heal your stuff, because it's like, this is not who you are. This is an adaptation. This is a survival strategy. This is you operating from your wounded feminine, your wounded self. And your heart is closed. Like for me, my heart, like I remember you guys know Mark Rose was on our podcast, but like Mark Rose pissed me off so bad. We were having a conversation one day. He was like, hey, Bano, how's your heart?
Fuck off, Mark.
I literally, in my mind, this is me though, I wouldn't say fuck off. I was like, yeah, like good, like fine. Like I remember thinking in my head, you're a fucking asshat. Like, why would you, what a stupid question.
Yeah.
And then
a split happening there.
How do millions of people follow you? You're an asset. Okay, so I love you, Mark. I love you. But like, I remember him asking that, and I was just like, oh, I remember like literally like repelling. I was like, this is such a stupid question, and I'm annoyed, and I don't know because I don't feel my heart. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And to your point earlier, like fine, like sidebar, like frustrated, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Yeah, I'm totally fine. My mom got back from England, and she showed me this like thing in the women's bathroom, and it was like. It was so, I wish I had it right now, but it was like, fine, okay, what a woman will say when like she's saying yes with quotations, but like you're going to get punished later. Or like, like, can I do this? Yeah, sure, no problem. It's like, I'm calculating the way you will get punished later. So I think this is the thing is that like I know for me, when I was in my wounded feminine, I wanted to punish. I wanted to hurt people in the way that they hurt me. I wanted to be in that very, like, I'm disappointed. Like, I think the Achilles heel of woman is disappointment and just that, like, just let down. And it's like, we can't handle it. And so it's sort of like, I need to off gas. I need to offload this onto you because I can't handle this. And oftentimes as well, like we were talking about with Stefania, like, we take our shit from past relationships or our, relation with our parents or father, whatever it is, and we're taking like a foggy lens, and then we get into a relationship, we might be hurt, we move on to the next relationship, we have the armor on, more armor, and we're not even seeing that person from a clean lens, and so we're not even giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like when she was talking about that whole piece of respect, like you were just talking about, it was just so like, it was that duality. It's hard to let go of because it feels like protective. It's like, okay, well, if I don't trust this person fully, this man in front of me, if I don't, fully let him in, or if I test him like I've tested everybody else, I have this illusion I'll be safer. But what we do is that we actually act in incongruent ways, and we push away the very thing that could be for us because of all of the like sack of shit that we're it'd be like walking into a new person and being like, hey, you, okay, just so you know, I'm going to whip this sack of shit and look at this. And that guy cheated on me, and this happened, and and just so you know, I don't fucking trust men. I don't trust you, anybody. But that's how a lot of women are, like, it's not words, but it's an energetic that we're holding. Yeah. It's an energetic frequency that we're holding. So anyways, end rant. That's where I'm at.
No, I mean, that's fucking immaculate. And I love that you brought that thread of punishment in because it's so normalized. Like, if you go into any women's circle, and I don't mean like the frilly, divine feminine, like we're sitting in a cacao ceremony circle. I mean, like just any group of women, any friend group of women, they go out for drinks, they're bitching.
Oh, yeah.
They're complaining. And they are calculating all of the ways in which they have been let down, disappointed, and then they scheme with each other about how they can go and punish. Now, one of the ways that women will punish, and this is probably going to make some people real mad.
Gonna ruffle some real feathers. I mean, if you're still, I just want to say, if you're still listening right now, you are on fucking fire, and you're a vibe. You're a bad bitch. You're a fucking vibe. Get your ass in the club immediately if you're not in there already. Immediately, because this is who we need. Anyways, please. And Rat, keep going.
And so there's like this way that women will punish men by withholding sex. It is probably aside from like being passive aggressive, because that's a really solid go-to move of, you know, undercutting, being cutting, saying like things under your breath, like there's going to be that element of punishment, but then this other piece comes in where we're going to punish you by withholding sex. And that is really problematic for so many fucking reasons. As women, if you're not getting well fucked in your relationship, you're going to be fucked. And not in a good way. Like, you use it or you lose it.
You're going to be a real sad Sally real quick.
Sad Sally.
If you're Sally, we love you. You're immaculate, we love you.
You know, and then the second you say that, women get like their back up and they're like, well, I don't want to fuck him. Look at all the ways that he's disappointed me and let me down. And to that I say, sure, okay, fine, fair. But have you communicated like a fucking adult and made big, bold requests of him? And if he is unable to meet you in the field of operating like a healthy, functional adult, why are you still there? Because the truth is, women would rather play out these toxic patterns than actually do the hard thing of leaving. And again, we're not talking about abusive situations, because that is a whole other situation and web that is difficult to get out of. But let's just say, for argument's sake, we're not talking about abusive relationships. We're just talking about dysfunctional ones. We're talking about ones where your needs aren't being met, where you would rather go complain to your girlfriends about the shit that he's not doing, at the same time never actually giving him the high quality information he would need to make a change and be able to fully fucking meet you. So he is playing a losing game every single time.
Oh, God, Kelsey, this shit, that just got me all fired up. Because I remember, sorry, I just was thinking of that because let's fucking go. No, but I've done this and I've had clients do this and I've said that exact same thing where I'm like, there's this shadowy part that says, I don't believe you're ever going to be able to meet me. So I won't, that's the thought, that's the belief. So I'm going to say, I won't say the thing that is going to empower him with the information and the knowledge to be able to win. So it's like one of those things where it's like it's a losing game for you. 100%. You'll never win. You'll never get it right. And the reason you won't is because I'm never going to tell you the truth. And because sometimes I don't even know the truth, right? So it's like this super, super shadowy thing. And what it does, we don't even, and this is something when one of the mentors said this, it just changed me. She's like, do you even think about, like, do you bring the male safety? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it was this moment of like, oh my fucking God. It didn't even cross my mind to question, am I a safe woman? Because here's the thing. We go into relationship. We aren't often truthful. I'm massively, horrendously generalizing here, but like oftentimes, I'm talking about myself. We are like not truthful. We are people pleasing, placating, or trying to be somebody we're not. This is what got me in all sorts of fucking Donkey Kong fucking shitholes, is that I would be, I would be like, oh, I don't know what I want or need. Okay, cool. I don't even really know who I am. So like, hi, let me enter this relationship. I'm going to pretend that I'm somebody I'm not. I am going to be exhausted by trying to uphold that thing. You're going to be confused as fuck because you're like, wait, what is happening? I thought that you were like somebody, like I used to like clean the house and cook the things, bait and switch, like catfish the motherfucker so hard. Like it was just, I don't even know if that even applies here, but the word came in. But it's just like I would do all sorts of stuff presenting a facade, and then I wondered why I was exhausted in relationships. And then I also pretended, so not only was I over functioning and pretending like I was like, I love doing all these things even though I fucking hated them, I would also like, I just didn't know who I was. Like I also wouldn't ask anything of them. So I would just be like, no, I'm fine. I don't need anything. And then I would get like bent the fuck out of shape and so resentful. And I think this is the thing, is that oftentimes, like, I think this is a wonderful question to ask yourself. Like, if you are in a relationship and you're feeling resentment and you're feeling frustrated, we have to take a pause and be like, have I even communicated my needs, wants, and desires? And have I even thought about their needs, wants, desires? Because oftentimes it's like me. And so I think it is like, you know, have I even communicated this? Is my partner, is my person even set up to win? Have I created the foundation of this relationship based on falsity? Because again, there's a certain energetic to that. And I think that something we do have to look at as women, and this is going to get people all bent out of shape potentially, but am I even providing safety to this man? Because again, think of how many men, like you see this, right? Like they're confused. Men are generally a little more fucking cut. Like, they're just straight-laced. It's just sort of like, hey, bro, how are you? I'm pissed at you. You're a fucking idiot. Okay, cool. Do you want to, like, duke it out for 5 seconds? Women are like, how are you? I'm fine. Good? Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, really? Because you don't really seem fine. No, I'm fine. I told you I'm fine. Okay. Do you still want to go for dinner? I don't know. Do you want to go for dinner? Yeah, I sure. I mean, I guess so. Oh, so now you don't want to? Oh, is there another woman? Is there another woman? There's another woman. Who are you going out for dinner with? Who are you going out for? Like, this is what we do with friendships, with relationships, with all sorts of things, right? And I think that we have to look, and this is something I continue to practice. I still would like to get better at, is am I being a safe person? Am I being the partner that I would want to date? Like, am I being that? Like, if you think so often, how quick are people to repost shit that says like, look at these red flags, look at these. They're reposting them all over the internet. And I'm like, bitch, are you the red flag? And how much do you operate out of these as well? Because oftentimes if we have a very strong charge to go and post something like that or repost it or to be like calling everybody out, we often have that shadow side, and we often do the exact same fucking thing, which is why we get all bent out of shape. If I see something now that says like red flags versus green flags, I don't really have a strong thing in my body. I'm just like, okay, that's interesting, but like there's no real charge. And so I think sometimes it's looking of like, are we creating safety to men by, and again, I'm not perfect at this, but I'm really working to do this, is to like say what I mean and mean what I say. It's to actually communicate. It's to be really brave and have my palms sweating and my stomach gurgling and my nervous system freak the fuck out and go into dysregulation when I'm about to have a hard conversation with somebody. But I'm willing to have that because the fawn response and the people pleasing and all of the shit has gotten me into so much trouble in the past. And I'm just unwilling. Like, I'm unwilling to do that anymore. I can't. And I think that, again, if we want to attract high quality men, it's like, am I even an energetic match to that? Like, so many women are like, I can't get the partner. And I'm like, would you want to date you? Mm-hmm. Like, who are you to date? Like, are you that person? Are you the high quality person? I think, like, you know, I've seen women, like, they get their pen and paper and they write down, that's like, okay, I'm going to write out all the things I want in a partner. And it's like, how many of those do you tick off?
Mm-hmm. How many of those are embodied in you?
Yeah, right.
Or
so I think again, it's just this
him to fucking fill the void that
yes.
you haven't been able to cultivate within yourself.
Yes.
And that's
yes.
often why we're attracted to certain qualities anyway, because we feel deficient in them ourselves.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
like, so I love that fucking tangent because, and I see this a lot having worked with quite a few men in my relational practice. The number one complaint that I have, well, that I hear from them when they recognize that this is a safe zone and I'm not going to freak the fuck out with whatever they have to say, is that their vulnerability has been historically weaponized against them. So they hear all of this talk about women want men to be honest, they want men to be real, they want men to be vulnerable with them. And then the second they do, they get fucking slayed. Because she's like, ugh, why are you being so needy? Like, why are you being so emotional? Like, be a fucking man. I'm sorry, what? Like, how is he supposed to win with that? And also, like, if you want him to tell you the truth, well, even if, like, do you want him to tell you the truth, or do you want him to tell you the truth only if the truth is something that you want to hear?
Oh, shit.
Because that's usually what it is. You don't actually want the truth.
Yeah.
You just want what you want to hear.
Yes. Or you
And
want the
so-
truth as in, so you can build evidence against more evidence.
And so what happens, and this is a good gauge to see like where you are in terms of your health, your emotional and relational health, is when he tells you the truth, which is not something that you want to hear, which is not something that makes you happy. Who do you become? Who do you become when that information is disclosed? Do you immediately get triggered and then get on the defense and try and rip him to fucking shreds? Do you punish him? Do you withdraw? Do you go silent? Do you, give him the silent treatment? That's another one that is a real zinger.
Love that one. That was right up in the top of my repertoire. I'll just ice you out, motherfucker, and I'm gonna punish you for days, and you're gonna have to beg, and then maybe if you beg, I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean, I grew up dealing with those types of dynamics, and so it does really dysregulate me when someone does go silent, and it immediately throws me back into having to navigate that as a kid. But in our romantic relationships with men, like if we aren't able to hold the truth, and here's the thing about the truth is that it's always clarifying. So if he tells you a truth that you don't want to hear, then you now have a decision to make. You have to decide whether or not that continues to fit for you in your relational paradigm. And this is also why people don't tell the truth and they withhold the truth, because they're like, well, if I tell the whole truth, it might mean that they don't want to choose this relationship anymore. So I'm going to manipulate them to stay by withholding essential truth. And that is toxic. And I know that men do that, but women also do that. And I see it in the dating phase the most with women, where they pretend that they are cool with being casual when what they really want is a committed monogamous relationship, and they will never let those words escape their mouth. So you're already setting it up on a foundation of a lie. You're already being inauthentic from the jump. And if you're inauthentic from the jump, well, you're setting the tone for how that relationship goes. That becomes the blueprint of the relationship. And so if you start off being super, super honest, and you're like, actually, what I'm looking for is a committed monogamous relationship, and I'm dating with the intention of getting into a relationship like that, where are you at? If he is not in the position of wanting to, provide that for you, or even that's just not something he's interested in, you're going to see that either come out in his communication. He'll say, thank you for being straight up with me. I'm actually in a very different place. I'm wanting something different. And then who do you become when he tells you he doesn't want what you want? Can you just let him go with grace and be like, cool, thank you for being straight up with me. I wish you well. Have a beautiful incarnation. I'm going to keep it moving. Or do you get all fucking butthurt about it and then try and manipulate him into wanting what you want? Because that's not love. And then let's say, and I get this scenario thrown at me all the time. Yeah, but what if he says he wants a relationship and then it turns out he doesn't? Well, first of all, no one owes you shit when you're dating. They don't. Like, just because I might want a relationship with someone doesn't obligate me to be in a relationship with the person I'm dating. I'm dating them to see if there's enough alignment for a relationship. And if there comes a moment where I realize, oh, we are fundamentally mismatched or we're misaligned or this isn't the thing for me, I have free will to leave. And this is even more offensive. Even in a relationship, that can happen. In a relationship, at any point in time, you can fucking change your mind. You don't have to be there. You're not obligated. You may have made a commitment, but if it's no longer true, the more honest thing to do is to leave. And, like, are we willing to sit with the fact that we do need to vet a new connection? And even if they say they want the same thing as us, it doesn't mean that they want us. It doesn't mean that we're the right person for that union with them or they are the right person for us. So we got to get out of the fucking fantasy and get down into reality and be able to sit with the truth of that. Of like, okay, well, he did say he wanted a relationship, and then we continued to vet this thing, and then at some point he realized that I wasn't the person he wanted to be in a relationship with, and that fucking blows. That sucks. It hurts. It's painful. I have some feelings about that, and I also get it. I'm not for everyone, and I don't ultimately want to be in a relationship with someone who knows that I'm not it for them. Like, I want to be in a relationship with someone who's like, that's my fucking person. I fucking choose her just as much as, like, I know he's my fucking person and I choose him. And if, let's say, he's a little player and he just knows the things to say, he's like read the game 20 times and he just knows what to say. He's been scoping out all the conscious relationship hoopla on the internet, and he's like, yeah, I know this is what I gotta take accountability and responsibility and talk about my feelings and all this shit, and it's just fucking slippery and slimy. If you are in your body, if you maintain an authentic and honest relationship with yourself, you will be able to feel his incongruence. You will be tracking whether his actions, his words, and his energy align. And if they do not, something is off there that requires a conversation. Do not jump to the conclusion that he's a fucking monster and a manipulative dick. But have a conversation with him about it. Be like, this is what I'm noticing. This is what I'm seeing. What's up? And if it continues to feel like he's just like feeding you shit and nothing is changing, well, then it's on you to leave the relationship. To say, actually, that doesn't work for me. I don't want to be with someone who's so inconsistent or so incongruent. I need someone who knows who they are and what they want, and they align all of those energies. And that's not where you're at. That's cool. Like, I don't need to change you. I'm not going to try and change you, but I'm also not going to keep entertaining you. And that can be done with a lot of care. That can be done with a lot of love, a lot of respect. You do not have to disrespect a man in order to, unhook from him and say, like, we've gone as far as we can go together. You don't have to tear him down and, like, rip him a new asshole just because you're misaligned and you're hurt and you're disappointed by that. And this is where we know whether a woman is in her embodied, healthy woman era, or if she's still in her adaptive strategies, wounded feminine, little girl, game playing era. Like, they're two very different types of women, just like there are two very different types of men. There are men who are actually just like adolescent boys in grown men's bodies, but there are also women who are just adolescent girls in a grown woman's body. And those two often find each other. And they have the most fucking dramatic and sometimes traumatic relationships with each other. Because they think they're more evolved and they're more further ahead than they actually are.
I mean, everything, like literally everything you said was so fucking on fire. And I want to say how you were like, and this strategy that we do, and this, I was like, and I've done that, and I've done that, and I've done that. And here's the thing, guys. It's not about getting it perfect. And it's not about like, I could sit here and shame myself and, you know, look at like, I can laugh about it now because it's no longer, I know I am doing way better. And I know I operate now from like true, like so much more authenticity and truth. And I've learned so much by being in relationship that is in contrast to what I'm desiring. Like we really get clear on what we do want based on, you know, what we don't want. And if we've done some of that work to clean up, we don't have to be perfect to get in a relationship. I hear people all the time being like, oh, do I need to be #healed? And I'm like, you're not. Healing is something that happens over a lifetime. And I don't think you do need to be, right? I just think that like some self-reflection and, you know, the willingness to take accountability and to that whole rupture and repair sequence and looking at that, like, you know, there's multiple times where I'm like, yeah, I really could have done better. Or, you know, here's what I really want to say. Or like, you know, there's times like having a shadow clearing with a friend or, you know, or come in the club where you can be like, this is what I want to say and this is what I'm going to say, because that is like, you know, this is where you could throw in, if you haven't listened to our 2.0 like riff on this, Kelsey and I talking about 2.0, or coming into the club and watching the replay of our workshop. But it's like, this is another great opportunity to say like, okay, well, what would OG me version of me do? This like what OG version would be like, I'm going to punish you. I'm pissed. I'm going to do the silent treatment. I'm not going to text you. I'm going to cut everything off. And then I'm going to make you beg, like whatever your strategy is. And then what would 2.0 version of me do? Okay, she'd say, she'd breathe, she'd get her feelings out, she would like allow herself to feel the completeness of the feeling, and then go and make the decision about how do I want to handle this, and do I need to have a conversation? And if I'm scared to have that conversation, who can I talk to like start, you know, who I trust and who I think is fairly emotionally intelligent to have that conversation with, or to talk that out. And what I do want to say is, if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm so lost, and how do I become authentically me? This is not just a sales pitch, but genuinely, like, coming into the club is where we do this work. It is, Kelsey and I like share so much of our personal life. We share so much around like what we've moved through. So not only are we teaching from, you know, knowledge and different mentors and all sorts of like the stuff that we've learned, but it's a lot of our own embodied stuff. And so this is why coming into the club is so powerful, because you're finding your authenticity in money, in business, in relationship, in like we, you know, we're really, Kelsey and I were like, we're really dealing with money, sex, power, right? And relationship and all of these pieces that allow us to live life in a really clean way, which, you know, we're going to be diving into, in the month, like in the club in July, we're really diving into money and talking about the nervous system, and like all of this shit is fucking related. It's so crazy. It's so nuts. But when we do a piece, we work on a piece like this, like we're talking about today, and becoming self-responsible, that directly impacts the money you're able to receive, like what you're an energetic match for, your manifestation power, all of it. It's so wild. But it's so there, right? And Kelsey and I also, I think what's unique about us is we also work through the lens of, through the nervous system and through the subconscious mind, and like all these pieces that I think are missed sometimes in some of this content. So in the club, if you're like, I want to work on this, I don't really know how or where to start, because I know for me, this is what came up. I would listen to inspiring podcasts, or I would listen to something and I'd get these zings or these hits, and I'd be like, but what do I do with this? How do I change this? How do I step into this more? And like Kelsey and I have essentially created what we would have died for when we were back on our personal development journey. Like this is like, usually I had to buy a course for this, and then a course for this, and then a course for this and that and that, and the mentor, like And then like the cool thing I think about us is like we're so multifaceted in whatever, in like the different arenas where we're like, well, yeah, done that. Okay, yeah, done that. So if you're like, I really want to dive into this, personal responsibility, I want to become more authentically me in my relationships, in my, because how you are in relationships is how you are in business. Like business is relationships. So it's like it impacts and affects all of it. So I just want to say that if you are interested in diving into this work, this is like 100% the lens that we hold in Club Unhinged. So get in there. That's what I'm going to say.
Get in there.
Get in there and join us. Well, I love being surrounded. I think the cool thing is that when you're in that group, you're reminded, and when we're making changes and we're shifting our reality and we're changing our identity and who we are, it's not about what we do once. It's not about listening to this podcast and you're gonna. I mean, I used to do this all the time. I'd have like crazy breakthroughs, or I'd go to a weekend workshop, and like it's great, but we're lulled back to sleep through our subconscious. So if we're not reminded repetitively, and we have something that we can tap into and a group of people who are going to hold us to our highest standard, we forget. And when you forget, you go back to sleep, and then you're woken up by another podcast and you have a momentary glip and it makes you feel like you've had a breakthrough. But like to create change, it happens on like so many different levels. And so I think kind of keeping the consistency and staying awake is how we make different choices. And then we start having like way better thriving lives where we're actually like in control and in conscious creation of the life versus letting our protective patterns and adaptive 3-year-olds run our relationships. Think of a kid, think of a kid, like, you took my toy. I'm going to take your toy and I'm going to break it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's what we do in relationships.
Yeah, we want to punish. Totally. We want to go up to mommy, look what he did. He did that. He's so mean. Punish him.
Yeah, bad.
And then we feel better.
Bad. Yeah, until we realize that we don't actually feel better.
No.
Because in those punisher patterns, yes, you may have like this initial hit of power over the other person at the expense of being deeply and intimately connected to yourself and deeply and intimately connected to them. And I don't really know what the point is of being in a relationship romantically if I'm not deeply and intimately connected to my partner. And so if I'm acting in ways that are destroying the bridge of connection, I'm going to be miserable there. This is where relationships really start to flatline, is people stop having honest conversations with each other. They stop truth-telling. They have all these adaptive strategies and punisher patterns, and it just becomes this fucking mess. And not that you can't get out of that. Like, I don't want it to seem like if you've been building that mess for a while that you're fucked. Because if you have two willing participants who are equally willing to transform the relationship, which means both sides are accountable and responsible and hold themselves to a higher standard, and then you create the relational agreements in such a way where you hold a higher relational standard for each other. I think Mark talked about this when we had him on, of like, I want the relationship to be the place where I can be my most expanded and best self. And I want the relationship to be a space for you to be that as well. Mm. And if we're not playing that game, I don't want it. And that's the philosophy I have too with my relationships, whether it's a new connection, whether it's a long-term relationship, whether it's friendship. If it's not a container where we can be our best selves, we either need to take a look at what's going on in the container and make the adjustments, or we've gone as far as we can go. And being sober enough, emotionally sober enough to sit with that very adult conversation is such a power. Like, that's true power. And like, these adaptive strategies, the punisher patterns, that's not true power. That's the distortion of power. But it's not true power, because true power actually leads you to have a more intimate and connected and love-filled relationship with truth and love. You know, within yourself and within the relational dynamic. So this is how you kind of know if love is present in the dynamic or not. Can you truth tell? Because if you can't truth tell, you're not dealing with love. You're dealing with some conditioned adaptation that might look like love, or you might think is love, but it isn't love. Because love will always invite you to become more of who you truly are. You cannot become more of who you truly are if you are lying to yourself, if you are lying to the other person, if you're playing out these patterns that keep you small and stuck and your needs never met. It's just not how it works. And so if you want to figure out how it works and be supported in unwinding all of that, well, that is our areas of expertise. That is what we do. That's what we do in the club. And like Christine said, like having a community of fellow women who are on that journey is, I mean, it's just fucking fun. But it's also, in my opinion, it actually like supercharges the speed at which you can transform. Because you can go and do this solo. Like, no one's saying that you can't. You can spend thousands upon thousands of dollars, thousands upon thousands of hours trying to figure it out, and you may or may not figure it out. That's what bums me out, is like being a solo ranger here. You may still like be fucking rambling in the wind 5 years from now. You might be. You also might be one of those people who's like a total self-starter and like figures it out and that's fucking great. But the majority of people are going to keep going in the same circles because we actually need relationship in order to transform. Because you can't see what isn't being reflected to you. And when you see yourself in another woman's experience, whether it's something she shares that triggers you or something she shares that inspires you, you're getting access to more of you. But and this is why like monks who like sit and meditate and they're like, I never get triggered. Well, yeah, because you're a fucking monk in a cave and you don't have any human interaction. But the second you go into life and into relationship, that serene state no longer is maintainable. Like, it's very easy to maintain it when you're alone and nothing is triggering you. And this is why people are like, I'm so healed. Like, they're single and they're not in relationships and they're like, I'm so healed. And then they get into a relationship and they're like, I'm fucked. What? Like, was that all a lie? No, it wasn't. But there was an essential piece missing, which is the relational work. And the relational work is done in relationship. And so I find it's much more helpful to have a relational container like a group like Club Unhinged to do this work with, so that you can go into your next relationship already kind of nervous system prepared to have those dialogues and to have those conversations and to have those experiences without needing to sabotage or blow it up or run your old patterns for so long that you go past the point of no return. Because there is a point of no return in every relationship. There's like one thing that gets said, that once that thing is said, you can't take back and you can't go back. Or there's that one action that happens. And that'll be different and unique for each relationship, but there is a point of no return. So we don't want you to get to that point of no return running these unconscious patterns. Instead, we want you to be the conscious creator of your experience in your life and be vetting people properly and knowing whether or not someone's a match for you and whether or not, you can fully be your, full, honest, expanded self. Has everything to do with how often you practice those skills in your day-to-day life. Not just when it's fucking game time. Can you imagine if a professional athlete only played the game when it was game day? They wouldn't be a professional athlete, by the way. They practice for a reason. And you don't even get to the major leagues without years upon years of practice and play. And you move, we were talking about the farm team before we got on here, but like you move from like the Pee Wee leagues all the way to the NHL. And that's not something that happens overnight. That happens over a series of years of building mastery. Relationships are no different. Everything that you've gone through up until this point has been the practice for mastery. But you also need teachers and guides who can help kind of pull that out for you and highlight what's going on so that you can make these subtle adjustments that create massive shifts. And that's what we're really good at doing. So if you want to come play with us, we would love to have you.
Come play. I mean, this is what I love as well, is I think in the club and just what we're creating is we having some of these unconventional conversations. And they can be a little zingy and a little triggering, but there is no real bad trigger necessarily, right? Like it's just the triggers are showing us information. And so it's just like, okay. And I think that's actually what sets us apart is we're talking about the stuff that matters, because I think that a lot of the times it's easier to sell or to market or to, in the business world, like what you and I are doing is almost not, it's a risky game what you and I are doing, but we're playing to win in this, where we're saying, I know what could sell here, quote unquote, but I can't in good faith feed you that, like, or sort of, because it's not what's going to move the needle forward. It's not what's going to have you transform. And like you said, in our community, you know, just from yes, you can lone wolf it. And from like what happens when you're in a safe community is from a nervous system perspective, you're moving more into ventral. Ventral is your flow state. It's your connectedness. It's like the ability to connect and to create and to transform and to become like superhuman. And so when you're in a group and you are normalizing some of this stuff that's sticky and that's, you know, a little more like, ooh, that's sticky. We're like neutralizing these conversations. We're neutralizing shame. And I think that's why we're so excited to talk about even money this month in the club, because we're going all into it. Your money blueprint, how it shows up in your nervous system, how we avoid certain things and why, like all these different pieces. Because I think that like what we're doing is we're just really dissolving shame and this idea that like, oh, maybe I'm the only one who's struggling with this. Like we're really normalizing these things. And then people are having massive breakthroughs because all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I'm not alone. Oh my God, that girl just asked that question, or that person just asked that question in the club in a live coaching session. And it's like, you can watch the transformation in everyone. It's like everyone recalibrates. Like because here's the thing, guys, like let's go woo for a second, but like we're all energy. We're all connected. There is no separation from any of us. So let's be real. So like when one has a breakthrough or a shift or like some sort of calibration, like you literally, there's no way it can't impact the collective. So it's just like, it is, all this work matters. And we want to thank you for showing up this conversation. And if you feel like this is a conversation that somebody could really use, please share it. Please pass it along. Like we love to hear from you if some of these, you know, if you had a breakthrough as well. It's so juicy for us to know that you're loving this content. And, you know, we've had so many people message us and be like, I've listened to so many times. I've listened to your podcast twice, like the same episode over and over and over again, because you listen to it, you have a breakthrough, you re-listen to it, you actually have a different breakthrough because your level of consciousness has shifted even that one moment. So like, there's really cool pieces. It was just, today felt really fun. Felt like something that was, again, a little like, do we do it? A little edgy.
Are we going to be brave and do it?
Are we going to be brave? But I think this is the thing. Like, I think in the online world, I'll just finish with this. I think in the online world, there's a lot of sitting in the stands. There's a lot of like sitting in the stands, eating popcorn, complaining and looking at everyone on the field and saying like, look, you should be doing that. Oh, look at that guy. He's a narcissist. Okay, look at that. They're doing that wrong. And what did we call it the other day? Binocular Betty. It's like your binocular Betty sitting with your binoculars on the stands being like, look at them. They did it wrong. You're bad. And we're just we're sitting there. So that's like level one. That's like the, like, I'm not even in the game. I'm not in the game, and what I'm going to do, because I'm so uncomfortable with the fact that I'm not in the game, is I'm going to sit here and I'm going to punish and judge and yell at all of you and shame you for what you're doing wrong. I'm going to just zone in on what you're doing wrong. I'm going to point it out just so you know. You didn't, like, that's why I like laugh, because I'm not in a point where I get heckled because I only have like 2,500 followers. So I'm like not at that point. But like, I see it a lot. And Kelsey, I mean, you're perfect because you're like, you like to shake shit up. So like, I see, it's hilarious to see some of these comments because people, all they're doing is pointing out, like, you're not doing that wrong. What about me and my situation? Like, it's all this. And I'm like, how about we all, like, if you're so passionate, then get out of the stands, get your fucking gear on, and get out into the goddamn field. Right? And I think that's the thing, is that like, you and I are working with a lot of change makers, a lot of rule breakers, a lot of people who are saying like, I don't want to be in the stands, or I'm already in the field, but I'm getting pummeled a bit. Can you guys come on my team so that we got a bit of a pack thing going on? You know, I belong, you know, like I just, you know, we were saying that in our last coaching session about how some of the women were saying like, there was a lot of pain that we were helping them alchemize around like not belonging, not feeling like fit in, feeling like the black sheep, feeling like I never fit in. And that was very painful. And I think that's the thing, is that like, if you felt that, or if you know, you're part of something so much bigger, and you were never like, you weren't born to fit in, like, right? Like you're not born to fit in. And I think that's what's really cool, is the women that you'll find in the club is like the ones who are just like, I'm up to big, bold things. I'm in the arena. I'm willing to get my ass handed to me. Show me what's real and true so that I can fucking alchemize that shit, because it has no reflection of who I am. And then let's get on with life, and let's start fucking like really embodying that hot, rich, and thriving era that you and I are so passionate about helping people create. So like, anyways, zing zing, motherfucker, zing zing
zing. And we also have something really special this summer that we're doing. It's the Rich Bitch Summer Challenge. And I'm so fucking stoked for it. It's a free challenge, so it's free to join. And there are some immaculate prizes for the people who actually do the complete challenge. So we're sitting here and we're saying we are committed to your transformation. Whether you come into the club or not, like, we are a stand for you transforming your life. And so if it's out of financial range to come into the club, this is a really great way to still get in on that transformation. It's going to take something from you. There's a weekly challenge, and there will be a community space for you to post evidence of you completing your weekly challenge. So there is this element of accountability that's been built in. And at the end of the 8 weeks, so we start next Monday, and so Monday, July 8th is when we start. And for everyone who completes all 8 weeks of the challenge, you'll be entered into a draw to win one of the 3 prizes. And that could mean you get to come into the club. So there's really no excuses here. Like, we don't like to deal with excuses and reasons and justifications why you can't have the thing that you say that you want you have, like, say that you want that you have. And so we're giving you a pathway. So we want to see what you're made of. Like, are you going to come play in the big leagues? Are you going to get out of the stands and onto the fucking field? We would love to see it. Because the more people that are on the field playing the game, the funner the game gets. Like, and there are always going to be people who fill the stands. Always. But are you a stand sitter, or are you a game player? That's really what I want to know. And I think if you've made it this far, it's pretty safe to say that you are a game player.
Are you a binocular Betty? Or are you a ferocious Fiona? Who are you going to be today, friends? I'm just joking. Any Fiona, Betty, all the names. We love you, Sally. But yeah, come in there. And what I will say, what Kelsey and I will say, is that sometimes our system can get overwhelmed when we think of like, you know, maybe you sign up for a ton of free stuff and you're like, oh my God, I have this. And yeah, that sounds great. And I have this momentary inspiration, and then it's gone, and like, you have this story about yourself of like, I'm just somebody who doesn't follow through, or I'm somebody who never gets it or does it. we've created this. These are micro challenges. They're not something where it's like, you have to radically change your life in 8 weeks. We're saying like, did you drink water? Can you focus on drinking water for the week? Like we've made these so that they are like powerful, they're micro, they're bite-sized, they're chewable, and it's something that you can win at. Because when you win, you have momentum. And when you're in the community and you start to feel the community and you're like, okay, I could do that. Like that's doable. We're doing it. These are very nervous system friendly. And the prices are fucking epic. Like the prizes are going to be really good. You can come into the club. Kelsey and I might even have a little zinger one-to-one with that. Like there's some things that you're not going to want to miss out on. Like the prizes are dope-a-lope. So like we definitely would love to see you in there, and it is a free challenge. So please share it with, we can link all the details, but like share it with people. Like if you're like, yes, like let's do this together and like complete it. Like there's literally nothing to lose and everything to gain.
And I love that we have made it so simple, and that these are like, and it's very intentional too, because we've chosen things to embody in the challenge that are designed to create the foundation for your rich bitch life. So let's say like finances are an issue coming into the club. Well, do the fucking challenge, and you are creating the baseline for more abundance, prosperity, wealth, money in your life, and richness in the holistic sense as well. So it's not just money, but we are focusing on money this month in the club. So you'll hear us talking about it more on the podcast, the webinar, all the things. But it's the foundation of richness in your life. And that's really what we want to see for you, because when you are thriving in your rich bitch era, you're unstoppable. You're creating ripples of change and transformation that do change the world. We're not going to change the world by doing the same fucking shit that we've been doing for centuries. It's going to take people who are in their creative essence, who are expanding into the realms of possibility and creating new. Not like fiddling with the old and trying to make it work, but like, let's just fucking create new. Like, let's expand into possibility. And the people who are magnetized into that, it only takes a certain amount of people to create a tipping point. So are you going to be part of that team? Like, we sure hope so.
Fuck yeah.
We love you.
We love you. Thank you so much for showing up today and for listening. Join us in the challenge, join us in the club, whatever you want to do. And,
let's get her done.
Let's fucking go.
So all the details are in the show notes. You can also ping us on Instagram if you have any questions. And we love you. We will be back next week. See you later, friends.
Bye.
Bye. All in all, we want to say thank you for being here. We love and appreciate you so much. And if you liked today, give us a 5-star rating. And we'll see you next week.
Share it. If you know somebody who needs this in their life, share this shit. Abundance goes round and round. We love you.
We love you. Bye.